best of the day, but this is the rider that we want to ride on board with now, because Marquez. Samadori, the brilliant test rider, has just recently
crashed in that tricky turn over the weekend, including his now former HRC teammate in the sprint here on Saturday. He fires it now through turn 7, hard the brake point. Good slingshot on the Ducati acceleration, the Ducati grunt. Sets him having Vinales at top, but maybe not much longer, because look at this on the bottom of your screen. 25, and is this going to be the best time of the day so far from Fernandez? On course to wrestle back top spots. It's Ralph Fernandez on circuit.
Well, we have 5 riders out on track along with Ralph Fernandez. We have Lorenzo Samadori,
and that is, well, he was only 1/1000 of a second behind Maverick Vinales.
Out on track. Ralph Fernandez here on the 25. There was a noticeable step time. We saw him becoming a bit more of a regular fixture in qualifying too. Had a really good qualifying over the course of the year. Brilliant personnel speaking to him on a daily basis when he did the last 7 Grand Prix. So Ralph Fernandez certainly finished the season off that season as he grappled with arm pump problems, which he finally got secretary squad with KTM, which never really caught fire. We were starting to see the season, so once he got himself fully fit in the second half of the season, we started to see the Ralph Fernandez
looking to make the step up to MotoGP in 2025. Fermin Aldeguer leading that and deliver next season, no question. Otherwise, you do fear that his seat may well on the spin. He certainly caught the eye of Rudy VR46 when they were looking in simply stunning fashion. Just the second rider in Moto2 history. And he got that by over 2 tenths per second. This may well be the fastest time of the day so far. He has his Bottas score a contract next year, maybe as much as €500,000. He was flying hardball. He was negotiating tough, but we're told that there was looking for a return to province after his injury ravaged in 2023 to move up to 2025. Jake Dixon will certainly hoping for a strong season. This
Ralph Fernandez will be looking over his shoulder next year.
This has been a pretty impressive run out on circuit for the Spanish rider. That is the best.
Arriving at this scenario, we thought at many parts of this season it was going to be one of the quietest of these seasons. So this year proved that never predict anything.
This may well be 2024, the final year of VR46, already been clearly tapped up by Pramac Ducati. There was perhaps a little bit of...
This season had reached its silliest, it got even worse.
Well, Fermin Aldeguer will just somewhat curtailed Aldeguer's interest in that particular seat. But Prima, I think, forming a great partnership as a rider, of course, back in the day with Yamaha, where look, they've already made the approach to Aldeguer, offering him a 2025, 2026 title challenging campaign. He's already earmarked for the Ducati Novo squad, made to spec Ducati. And the fact that Prima Power Racing are already sort of sniffing around Aldeguer, Honda are going to go big, they're going to go aggressive in the market, and they could go tomorrow. At the moment, that would seem like quite a hard sell, wouldn't it, going on a Honda for Martin?
Very elite riders in MotoGP to join their team. Of course, Luca Marini is concessions. That's why this winter is so important. One of the many reasons it's so important. Morning, both Luca Marini and Johan Zarco, who joins the LCR Honda team, do bring them a well make their way forwards once again. We saw throughout the morning all manner of Honda, the Aprilias that Maverick Vinales was running this morning, so they're leaving no stone on Fernandez up in 3rd now.
That was that impressive stint that Fernandez put together.
Fernandez, we've got Fernandez 1st and 3rd now. It's Ralph Fernandez from Maverick Vinales.
2 129s, a low 130, lap 32 was up. They were only willing to offer Marquez's replacement a 1-year contract. They wanted the 10.9.710. Luca Marini option for HRC next year. He puts off all kinds of names. That latest part plan Neil will be racing for HRC beyond 2024 if he has anything right. That made it crystal clear that he wasn't entertaining the option or the possibility of going there. Really needed to have a minimum 2-year contract, which is what Luca Pedro Acosta had taken Poles ride next year in Gas for and 25. I mean, let's be honest, perhaps Honda, the comments that have been read by Alberto Cruz. I think Alberto just went to test the water there. Did he have from his Portimao he felt like he still had a lot to offer. Was it Thailand or Sepang where he'd had, where he'd had those. If you do feel like you want to carry on racing, what would you consider coming immediately back? He does harbour ambitions of being a full-time driver again, and reps on the come knocking for 2020, where he said, I want to finish the job I started here, and I want to help KTM.
At around about 40% of his capabilities early on in the weekend, it's honoured to be asked by Alberto Puig, but he said physically and mentally, said he couldn't even smile again until around May of this year, so it took a couple of months for Pol Espargaro came to the worst possible outcome, and just what kind of state he was in. Ro's main aim is to get fit and healthy again before he considers any thoughts of a full-time. Tough time for Pol Espargaro. He had all of our symptoms.
He lose like 7 or 8 kilos in body weight. I think he's nowhere near back to his peak physical best. That was interesting, wasn't it, Gigi Dall'Igna? It just sounded like your worst possible nightmare. Pretty much as a factory rider, contracted directly to Borgo Panigale, confirming what Paolo Ciabatti, the Caddy Corps sporting director, told us earlier. There is nothing. It's already today. Jorge Martinez found himself in the gravel trap, turn 10. Lorenzo Salvadori now doing a bit of work and putting his test rider with Aleix Espargaro and Martin as well. So down to you.
Yeah, since we're looking at Jorge, I might as well start with him. I went and he said that the first one, was cold tyre. Everyone could. Martin said what we all saw. The rear came around. When he came in and said that to them, they looked at the data, their brake pressure. To repair that bike for a second time. He's back out there on that 24. Yeah, Salvadori, I think it's one of the more interesting things on circuit right now. But Aprilia, someone got some shots, I think it was at Misano doing a test. During, their first effort at it anyway. They have, I think you can see that Luca Marini. Imagine the big wings on the back of the F1 cars,
Thanks very much, Simon. Actually, just a few moments ago, right on cue, we were looking inside the factory of Aprilia garage and saw that new carbon fibre chassis that the post-Misano tested September. Getting a jump on Aprilia. What a great debut it was from Dani Pedrosa. So Jorge Martin, they weren't racing. They've had a look at the data and just can't find anything different that Jorge was doing. Going into that second gear left-hander, he just looked completely perplexed, didn't he? Well, a bad man to follow around this 4-kilometre Ricardo Tormo circuit, because here is Pedro Acosta then, who at the moment is coming on his third.
And the home straight. I'd say I enjoyed Pedro Acosta's reaction when he came. 3 laps of his MotoGP adventure. Maverick Vinales came past Pedro Acosta coming into the final corner. Took off down the home straight. It clearly caught the Moto2 World Champion's attention. He looked like this morning. You could just see it in his eyes, in his body language, in the way he was speaking to his crew.
It was great to see. Great to share inside the gas special first taste for Pedro Acosta on that gas machine. Hopefully, Valencia test. We hope you joined us this morning when we were joined by the Caddy Corps sporting director Panigale. Well, we're due to be joined by this man's new team manager, Nico Goyot, inside Tech 3. And hopefully, we're going to be hearing from Nico in about what designed their Moto2 chassis, the Mistral 610, back in the day, where we can tap him up as a spy inside the garage and find out exactly what happened at 10 AM local time. The wind and the breeze has at least blown off some of the heavy maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to put one on because Pedro Acosta is, he's very eloquent young man. All the different parameters. This is Pedro Acosta.
He's a rookie.
It looks like he's learning pretty quick.
20 or 21, which we thought it would peak at in the afternoon session. Going, we might have a special one here.
Yeah, in terms of what he's got to learn, of course, this is not a thing that Pedro Acosta has ever lacked through his Grand Prix career.
As we mentioned this,
in his stride right about now. Moved up to Moto2 at the start of the 2020, experienced on a motorcycle before, of course, Michelin tyres as well, having ridden Dunlops for the last couple of years.
That RC16 around this Ricardo Tormo circuit here in Valencia. This is
things in MotoGP, and he's going to be a rider that ultimately KTM, I think, are going to have.
He's known as the Shark, well, cutting his teeth pretty quickly here for so many reasons. One of the big ones being the potential of this young MotoGP World Championship paddock. What Guy Coulomb does not know about motorcycle race and the latest Spargo, who's the walking wounded and now departed from this test, Spanish rider. That's Guy.
He's part of the furniture at Tech 3. Pedro Acosta gets ready for his latest.
This is pretty cool. This is pretty special. There is Guy just walking out the back of
Full rival, Tony Arbolino. Pedro Acosta went and got a load of pizza boxes and decided to hand them out in Mina, and he wants to bring the entertainment and the showbiz to MotoGP, and I'm sure he will. A real entertainer. He is a superstar in the making, on and off.
He was very much a game for two halves. Fantastic, strong, competitive, winning races on the mechanics. Trust me, because we saw a few Elmar Reedus racing team on a whole bunch of traction control. But hey, on day one, great to see a whole bunch of fans, as we mentioned. Line, it becomes a little bit of arrogance, but I've got to say, I love it.
Cocky if you back it up.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Just looks so self-assured, doesn't he? So.
Can't argue with that, and yeah, as you say, so many young riders go up to MotoGP 7 of which came this season. Whatever Pedro Acosta
in 2024, always great to see a young talent over the last 18 months or so. Carl's alluded to that fact himself, to saying, you know, behind the scenes for the factory Yamaha team with the concessions, the ability for the particular, the work that Piero has done over not just the last couple of years, over a number of years. Way Martino, never going to be a Pecco Bagnaia, but he was always able to be fast enough, and it's up almost, haven't you? So that you can, when you are on the bike, you can just immediately get down to the pace where, well, I mean, you won't get the chance to lead a Grand Prix, just as he did this year, of course, in that flag-to-flag scenario.
on this season too, in Piero and Ducati, so he's not going to be going anywhere for quite some time.
If he's not won or led a single lap of MotoGP in 30 Grand Prix, as Fabio Quartararo did together. I mean, who would ever thought we'd be 23? Now is Pedro Acosta then in the official Red Bull KTM factory.
On experience as well with the Red Bull Advanced Technologies Centre.
So KTM have recognised just how successful Ducati have been. There's Alberto Giraviola, who was one of several
distinctive fairing in the zebra colours on Jack Miller's RC16. Where did that come from? He then led the Tissot sprints, and Brad Binder then won through the Sepang test and then the Portimao test. But clearly,
in Malaysia and throughout the winter testing campaign, Binder said he couldn't recall.
Really knew what they were doing, and they'll certainly have a big plan up ahead of them.
Much an experimental pre-season for the factory KTM team. Box, Tech 3 team manager Nico Goyon. First of all, Nico, welcome. Box, where I can't wait to ask him the first question about Pedro Acosta's first impressions. So you were right in the heart of it. How was it? How buzzing was he?
Yeah, no. The moments in Qatar and in Valencia, but it was clear that from this moment, yeah, he expected this moment there.
You've got a lot of experience. Tech 3 have a lot of experience.
In the end, no, it was marquez just on the bike here.
The power, all the different electronic setups. I mean, what do you think is going to be?
For me, the right ID guys.
Yeah, how
You get the
goals and sort of milestones that he needs to achieve through the season.
well, at the moment, we have
Competitive that he is, of course, he wants big things and he wants them as quickly as possible. How do you?
we're not going to set the same bike as the KTM bikes, so let's say we're going to have more
What impresses me about Acosta and Nico is you kind of forget that he's 19. So sort of confident, so assured.
with the other KTM bikes, see where we are and what we're gonna. The Spanish school, first of it, and the IO school as well. From the Spanish school, they know how to work, they know how to train, they know that they are well trained. They know how to work his bike knowledge.
Perfect time while we were just looking at Augusto Fernandez on screen there.
Side. He knows all this, and he has quite.
But how impressed were you with the maturity that he showed and the progress he made through the season?
He's a bit better, and Augusto did a good job. Him some super strong result. He's not how to say enthusiast, and he's from this point. And the season's been good. It's been really good so far. This is quite clear. But he's the kind of guy who make lap time. But this, you know, this year with the format, we raised our expectancy on Augusto, but then he kept the fight for the first laps and to be a little bit quicker and his performance.
Late on in the season, but we can't hide from the fact that this was now 2 years in a row where
that's our weak point at the moment. But the pace, he has a pace. He improved a lot on all the statistics, all the numbers to clearly see that we are with one of the engineers yesterday saying, hey, look, my own feeling is made a mistake with the front tire, but we were there. We were fighting for the win. So it's obvious that Brad Binder did an unbelievable season. But if you we're going to be there next year.
Of course, with Pedro Costa joining Augusto Fernandez, it means no.
Was at the level he expected, so this was quite clear. Plus, it's true that in the end he was struggling with the same problem all the time, quite a lot. And this wasn't really in the direction out of the garage. I think a
130.846. Tricky break with
the superhuman human being, and we will keep his.
It's difficult to judge you.
The wind is strong, I tell you. The wind is super strong.
Yeah, let's be a little bit worried. He's already down to low 130s, 40 laps.
It's faster with every rider. Any rider, you get the feeling that any. So this show for me this show the real level of the bike. It happened good with the bike, then it really show the level, the average level of the bike. Go wide, and so I'm not managing this anymore. But no, yeah, it's clear that it's a complete different. The meal was not good, and yeah, you know, basically this is
Isn't it, for someone speaking his second language, always an entertaining rider to listen to when he speaks.
that left the team, and. Hey, as a
word, which he breathed to Paul Trevathan, which hottest part of the day really, isn't it now, coming up to 2:45 in the afternoon as a cost suitable without an 18 certificate, so we'll keep it zipped. We'll let Acosta do his talk. To power slide those Michelin rear tyres, that is absolutely super.
Doesn't he?
Oh, what
that KTM.
What a shot that is. This is
Against him this year, either won that World Championship with a couple of rings.
this morning. You just see there Paul Trevathan and Gascas Tech 3 colleague. That shot of him power sliding that Michelin rear tyre through turn 13, just
Outside, keeping hold of as the years go by.
pushing the front he was there in the first corner as well.
Off the bike as well as on it. For those of you who maybe spend most of the time watching MotoGP, and victory on Italian soil at the home race of his main top 10 off the all-time lap record, which he himself set on Saturday morning. So expecting any heroics at this stage, although as you say, to be only 1.2 seconds off
the margin, if you can get close to that on their first day, then they're doing a half-decent job. But to be 1 point,
I think what struck me more than anything is just how immediately comfortable and confident
Paul Trevathan, and clearly very clear feedback that Pedro Costa's giving, as we heard.
and to click into gear a little bit, of course. Well, it'd be very interesting to hear.
But yeah, what a debut it's been, a day that he will never forget, a special day for him at Pedro Costa. But I think it's just the fact that he looks like he's won a MotoGP bike for
Final quarter, best we've seen from him so far today is a 130.47.